Hello, Saturday night, and I am deciding I like to talk about Doctor Who. Why? Because I feel like it. And a second reason that has made me enthusiastic about doing this video is this. Yep, you've heard it. The last flight of Doctor Who. I know, it only lasted about like 30 seconds up in the air before it crash landed on the farmer's field. What a shame really. What might have been, but if they get a second prototype right, they might just do it justice. You see, since the late 80s, up to 2013 now, visual effects of the TARDIS have been very CGI orientated. And I feel it's come a time now that if you want to make the TARDIS more realistic, and also the BBC are probably under a lot of pressure via austerity cuts to try and do more for less, this is it. Basically, by making the TARDIS be controlled by remote control with little flying motors, as you can see here in this little close of this photo, you can see what I'm going on about, where the TARDIS is basically flying with little propeller motors connected to it, which of course obviously in post-production can be digitally visually rubbed out along with the underneath cover. With what I've just shown you takes it back to practicality, because it's going back to how they did it originally back in the 70s before the 80s CGI pre-visual era. Everything back then was done physically and practically in the BBC Special Effects department, which they had back then over at Shepherd's Bush. CGI was still in its infancy during the 70s, even before the era of Tron. And, you know, obviously, no doubts they were trying to come up with almost everything to make the damn thing work. You know, doing good old camera tricks where it kind of like faded out the TARDIS and then have it spinning on a little string and an effects in the studio while it's floating away in space. You know, the good old-fashioned days of how they did the effects for the TARDIS. And the fact that it can fly and doesn't have to keep materialising and dematerialising. I mean, come on, this is a time machine. This is the TARDIS. It can fly through the air and can take off and go sideways, up and down and what not. It doesn't necessarily have to really like completely materialise unless absolutely necessary once in deep space. Who built this particular TARDIS was by a couple of guys who, you know, make, you know, remote control cameras for like film and television. And I feel the BBC should hire these guys, you know, because they've really been enthusiastic Doctor Who fans, really built this baby big time and put a lot of love and care into it. Unfortunately, their impatience caused them to do it in windy areas in the countryside. And as a result, the wind picked it up and 30 seconds later was now down in a farmer's field, as I mentioned earlier. But I really do think it can really take off in a big way, and I think that would be brilliant if they tried doing it that way as well. A mixture of CGI along with practical effects I feel is needed big time, you know, because it would be nice for people to see a real TARDIS flying through the air rather than having to try and imagine it. For a long time, actors have had to pretend the TARDIS was, well, it was there, but they had to pretend most of the time against the green or blue screen, and it would be nice to see a TARDIS flying in front of them, even if it's got motors on, which will slowly be digitally wiped out in post-production before transmitted and aired on television. Would be brilliant. I just think this would be a wonderful experience, and obviously, you know, it'd be great. Even if it's just for a few seconds, is more than long enough to give people a real glimpse that this is a real TARDIS, that the Doctor's real TARDIS they can actually see, and I feel, you know, that'd be great. If they don't, oh well, never mind. But I think it'd be brilliant if they use it with Peter Capaldi's Doctor. I can't see why not really, because that will mark another chapter and another new era in the Doctor Who legacy. So who knows? Stay tuned. You never know. They might just give it a try. So until next time, folks. Till which is now tomorrow. Ciao for now.